It's a really very exciting day for all of San Francisco. Thank you for being here today. My name is Malia Cohen. I'm the elected representative. I represent District 10. That's the Potrero Hill, Visitation Valley, and of course the illustrious Bayview community. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you. I, as well as every member on the stage, and I'm sure many in the audience, are tremendously excited to be here today. We all know it's been a long time coming. I'm sure Kofi probably knows better than most. We're excited because we are going to be breaking ground on the first of the vertical construction for the first of a few blocks of homes here in the shipyard. But first, before we get into any of the content, I really would like to take a moment to recognize Mayor Ed Lee. You may applause. I also would like to recognize Mayor Willie Brown. Also would like to recognize Kofi Bonner. Who by the end of this project will be a legend. And I also would like to acknowledge as well as former Supervisor Sophie Maxwell. And we will get to the introduction of the rest of the folks on the stage after a moment. At this time, I'd like to bring up our MC. It's a woman that many of you know. It's a very familiar face to us. She's brought the news to our living rooms for years. This is Miss Pam Moore from Cron 4. She's an illustrious journalist. She's been inducted into the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, the Silver Circle, and she's also received many numerous accommodations from the Society of Professional Journalism, honoring her significant contributions to Northern California and television. It is a great privilege that she has taken time today to join with us in commemorating this fantastic and historic event. Please welcome our Mistress of Ceremony for today, Miss Pam Moore. Thank you.
Supervisor Cohen, and wow, what a beautiful day in San Francisco. Woo! And what an exciting day for the Bayview community in particular. It really is my pleasure to be here today to welcome all of you to the official construction launch of the Hunters Point Shipyard project, 25 years in the making. This really is a historic moment in time for this community, and today's celebration is designed to honor all of the people who have had this dream and who have fought for this dream, not to change the heart of this precious community, but to build on what is already here for a brighter future for the people who live here now and for those who will live here in the future. There was a line in a Sam Cooke song that my folks used to play when I was growing up. It's been a long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Oh, yes, it is. Bayview, change is coming. We are honored to have a number of the people who made this project possible be here today. We'd first like to acknowledge the City Hall officials and key citizens. Supervisor Cohen did some of that. The Mayor of San Francisco, Ed Lee, and former Mayor Willie Brown are here. We will hear from them in just a bit. Supervisor Malia Cohen, again, thank you for being here. Former Supervisor Sophie Maxwell is here, rejoicing in her decade-plus work to make this day happen. Her former colleague and president of the Board of Supervisors, Aaron Peskin, is here. The community thanks you for your leadership and support. Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi and Senator Dianne Feinstein are busy holding down the fort in Washington, and we all know how much work that takes, but they are here with us in spirit today. Former Supervisors Amos Brown and Willie Kennedy are here. Welcome to former Redevelopment Commissioner Leroy King. Also, Tiffany Bohe, Executive Director of the Office of Community Investment and Infrastructure. And her board members, Christine Johnson, Mara Rosales, Dar Singh, Marilee Mandahar, and Theo Ellington. Also, we would like all of the members of the Shipyard Citizen Advisory Committee stand up. This day wouldn't be possible without you. We'd also like to welcome Michael Terrio, Executive Director of the San Francisco Building Trades. Sorry, Michael, for blowing your name there. Today, we are here to launch the construction of the new homes on this transformative project for the Bayview Hunters Point community. Today is the start for the building of 1,400 new homes. 30% of them will be affordable housing. I already am thinking about asking Kofi, if you're on the program, if you can get a discount on getting a house. Approximately 25 acres of parks and trails and open space with these spectacular views of the bay and the city. Retail and commercial space for local businesses. Programs to benefit the community, providing job training, small business assistance, and home ownership opportunities. And, of course, the preservation of the shipyard's historic artist colony. I'm so happy about that. There is much to celebrate, so let's begin. Kofi Bonner is an accomplished architect, planner, and businessman. He has an esteemed Bay Area history of leadership that includes working as Mayor Willie Brown's Chief Economic Policy Advisor. He was former city manager for the city of Oakland and the city of Emeryville. He left the Bay Area for a bit to work as the Chief Administrative Officer for the Cleveland Browns, becoming the first African American to hold such a title in the National Football League. But then he had to come back home to the Bay Area to bring this historic and monumental project to life. Known for his bold vision for economic development and his can-do spirit, can't stop Kofi. Kofi has put his blood, sweat, and tears into building this project. Please welcome the president of Lennar Urban, Kofi Bonner.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Pam, for lending us your grace, wit, and charm for this wonderful event. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. What a great day in the city, and what a great day in the Bayview. You know, this portion of the shipyard was conveyed to Lennar in 2004. As you can see, we have completed the roads, utilities, we have street lights, and I am delighted to formally announce the beginning of construction of homes right here on this hilltop. It has been quite a journey, at times a somewhat complicated journey, and there is no question, though, that we would not be here but for the strength of our public-private partnership. Our partnership has required courage, conviction, and commitment. So many of the elected officials have been courageous and instrumental in supporting our efforts. At the federal level, Senator Feinstein and Leader Pelosi have been stellar. They have brought several millions and hundreds of millions of dollars to ensure that we could continue the cleanup on this shipyard. In Sacramento, Senator Leno and former Assemblywoman Fiona Ma championed legislation at very critical junctures during the development process. And of course, the inimitable Mayor Willie Brown took the lead at the local level. Then former Mayor Newsom, now Lieutenant Governor Newsom, and now my good friend Mayor Lee, and they continue the legacy of support from the Room 200. The last 8 years, former District Supervisor Maxwell calmly, so calmly, engineered the critical approvals through the board. First, with then President of the Board, Aaron Peskin, and then with now President of the Board, David Chu. And of course, a majority of the supervisors, many of whom were here. And I certainly want to thank Supervisor Malia Cohen for her friendship and continued support of this project. We have many evenings where we chat about how to continue this good work. The courage of the political body, however, has always been fueled by one key item: the conviction of this community. The stalwart members of the Citizens Advisory Committee and the Project Area Committee members, led by Angelo King and Dr. Honeycutt, have sat through hundreds of sometimes difficult community meetings, providing vital community input to us and to the various redevelopment agency commissioners who are here, and some of them who are currently on the commission, and certainly those in the past. And that commission for several years was anchored by the lion of the Redevelopment Commission, Commissioner King. Thank you for coming, Mr. King. But you know, neither courage nor conviction could have brought us this far without funding. So please indulge me as I take an opportunity to just thank my colleagues, my boss, John Jaffe, who is the Chief Operations Officer for Lennar, who is here, and some of our partners. You should know that we in Lennar have always believed the best of the Bayview, and we have therefore placed our resources alongside our belief. And we have been fortunate to have worked with some fairly stellar people. One, Ms. Denise Lapointe, who is here, probably hustling somebody to sit down or stand up, and a Ms. Roberta Achtenberg. But I can tell you that without my colleagues and associates who reside with me downtown San Francisco, the rest of the Lennar Urban San Francisco staff, we wouldn't have made it this far, and we've gone through some fairly heroic times to get to this point. So courage, commitment, and conviction have delivered us to this great beginning. So I am extremely pleased to tell you that we begin today, and within the next 36 months, almost 800 of the 1,100 market rate homes will be completed and occupied right here on this hilltop. 20 acres of new open space and recreation space will be available to the entire community. The artists will have a new studio building cementing their long relationship with this historic piece of property. Candlestick Stadium will be gone, but in its place, oh, there's claps. And in its place will be the beginnings of a retail and entertainment center with a grocery store for the community. And perhaps, and most significantly to this community, and certainly to our public partners, 128 of the 256 families that currently reside in Alice Griffith will be living in their new homes. And those new homes will be on the Alice Griffith parcel, with the remainder of the homes to follow on that parcel shortly thereafter. So I can't tell you just how pleased I am to be part of this really extraordinary transformation. And I look forward to continuing to work with you all and our public partners, and certainly my colleagues with Lennar and our partners, our financial partners, in seeing this dream become a reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Kofi. And what a day of celebration all over the place for the mayor of San Francisco today. Ed Lee became the first Asian American mayor of San Francisco in January of 2011 and was elected the 43rd mayor in his own right in November of that year, making San Francisco an international destination and hub for technology and innovation. Gets him up in the morning, and throughout the day he looks for opportunities to encourage improvements for the quality of life for all San Franciscans. Mayor Lee also believes in the value of parks and recreation and affordable housing, and because of his work now, great parks like Golden Gate Park and McLaren Park and the new small neighborhood parks will have the financial resources to give residents a place to play and relax and spend time with their family and friends. To protect and to preserve affordable housing. Mayor Lee led the effort to secure a housing trust fund from voters, creating a $1.5 billion stream of money over the next 30 years for low-income housing and first-time homebuyer assistance. Yes. And his goals and his core values are on full display in this project today with the parks and the open space and the housing and the rebuilding of Alice Griffith. Please join us in welcoming Mayor Ed Lee.
Thank you, Pam. Welcome to the Bayview. Oh my gosh. You gotta hear all my thoughts coming right now. But I have to say what's on my heart. That's probably got to be the most honest thing. We're in the Bayview. We're with people who are beautiful people out here for many, many years, complimented by these beautiful views. And we need housing. We need housing for everybody. And by the way, I'm going to get a pair of those glasses that Willie's wearing. Obviously, Kofi and Pam and Supervisor Malia Cohen had already expressed all of the names that I won't repeat, but I do want to make sure we recognize the historic efforts by so many people who, for years and decades, placed a lot of hours, a lot of tears, a lot of hope was created to get to this point. And I greatly appreciate them, from Speaker Pelosi and Senators Feinstein and Boxer to protect that funding, all the way to Mayors Gavin Newsom and Willie Brown to find the private developer to invest and create hope here, to the hours and hours that Sophie and Aaron and others at the board spent to make sure we put this plan together right. And for some of these youngers, like Malia Cohen and I, we, with the new Commission on Investment and Infrastructure, we get to deliver on these promises, not just talk about them, deliver on them. Because that's how we honor all the people who have touched this development and project for so many decades. Even Gerald Green is here, former planning director. Yes, he touched this for many years. So many people touch us, and I can see the only way we honor these folks is to deliver. And to deliver on these promises, to deliver for the residents in Bayview, deliver for Hope SF residents who want that hope so much and deserve it so much. Deliver to this section of the city so that no one can ever say we have unfulfilled promises. To deliver those jobs with our construction and labor partners that are promised to residents in the Bayview. We got to deliver on that. And YCD and working with ABU, they're going to be helpful in this. Yes, they're not just going to do barbecues. We're going to put people on the job. We got to get everybody working. This is the promise of San Francisco. This is why we do the projects, not just for the buildings. It's for the people. This has always been for the people. People here in the Bayview, people all of the city. We work for the 100% of every community in San Francisco. And the Bayview, we're so proud of the patience and the camaraderie and the sacrifices that the people have made. And when you understand that the Bayview Planning Committee, the committee that was formed back when Art Agnos was mayor over 25 years ago, they've been working for over 2 decades to envision, to figure out what to do with this shipyard, but ultimately that they determine the most important thing. Everybody needs housing, and we're going to get housing for all classes of people here to live and create community, more community at the same time. Not just housing, by the way. We're always talking about community and people. Community people need housing, but they need parks. They need open space. They need good transportation. They need the greatest world-class education this city can find. And we have to put all that together to build community. And this is what our effort here is all about. This is what the Commission on Investment and infrastructure is all about. And I'm not afraid to say, they had been there. The Redevelopment Commission had been there for all of these years. Thank you, Leroy, and all of the leaders of redevelopment. Thank you for your sacrifices. And even though the state got rid of that title, the spirit of our redevelopment is embellished in everything that we do. We will honor that redevelopment because we did it right here in San Francisco. We've always done it right. The people have always held us accountable to do it right. So in that spirit, Kofi, Urban Lennar, turning the spade of dirt, putting the housing up, the promise is being delivered, and we will see to it phase one is not only going to be complete during our times as we serve these offices, we're going to see phase two. We're going to see 10,500 housing units on this beautiful Hunters Point Shipyard. How about that as a goal to get done? No longer promises. The dirt is being turned over. The buildings are started. We're honoring labor. We're honoring local residents to get on these jobs. We're putting people to work, building the communities they've always wanted to see out here. Beautiful Bayview, beautiful views. We're lucky to be in San Francisco. Thank you very much.
This project is firmly grounded on the foundation of community spirit and involvement and perseverance. Key supporters of the project and the community endured the ebb and flow of local politics and the economy. Big challenges, both of them. But they never gave up, never wavered in their sincere desire for a revitalized and vibrant Bayview community. Dr. Veronica Honeycutt sat for thousands of hours and evenings, giving her time and her heart and her soul as chair of the Citizen Advisory Committee to keep this project moving forward. Well, Dr. Honeycutt, how do you feel today? One step closer. Please welcome Dr. Honeycutt.
Thank you so much, Pam. I have promised Pam that I would not holler because it's not professional. But I really want to holler because we are so glad. CAC is delighted to see vertical construction. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes. Yes. Let's give glory to God for bringing us out today and allowing us to witness this remarkable occasion, the beginning of vertical construction and development activities for the shipyard. And I'm especially pleased to see the mayor, Mayor Willie Brown, and he's right here next to me. On this podium, Mayor Brown, your vision to revitalize this part of San Francisco has laid the groundwork for the development of the shipyard. You are the reason all of us are here today. Thank you very much. And we want to thank our great Mayor, Edwin M, for his superb work in making sure the shipyard was a priority for the city and county of San Francisco. Since his appointment to the position of mayor of San Francisco, great things have happened to this city. Our economy has surpassed most of its counterparts in the country. Mayor Lees has kept our community's well-being in mind by making sure that jobs are a priority for his administration. And Mayor Lee has given us access to City Hall, and he has listened to our concerns and received our feedback well. We thank you, Mayor Lee. And to this wonderful man of the hour, Mr. Kofi Bonner. Without your leadership, Kofi, determined efforts, solid commitment, and continuous hard work, the shipyard would never have made it this far. And that is a fact. Thank you. Mr. Bonner, you make us proud with your brilliance, your knowledge, and your resilience. We thank you for keeping us engaged, us on the CAC engaged, and focused despite all the distractions, financial and otherwise. Thank you. And to my colleagues on the CAC, the Citizens Advisory Committee for the Shipyard, your past and continued efforts have sustained our community. Year in and year out, you have given your time commitment to this work. You have worked as volunteers, now without remuneration, some of you for 20 years. Today, your work is reaping dividends. I would be remiss. I would be remiss if I did not introduce you today. And thank you, Pam, for having them stand up. But I'd like to introduce them, those who are with us today. And so, Vice Chair Ollie Mixon, would you kindly stand up and let the public see you? And then we have Pastor Josiah Bell. Please stand up. Okay, and I believe that Richard Loffman is available. Please stand up. And I'm seeing Sulu Palega, whom you know in this community, a member of our CAC. Our other members are Mary Booker, Gerald Gage, Servio Gomez, Carmen Kelly, Scott Madison. Okay, there she is. Doris Vincent, please stand up. Now, you all know Doris Vincent. Thank you. She snuck in without my seeing her. Is Scott Madison here today? There he is. Stand up, Scott. This man has been toiling for years. Has been responsible for keeping the shipyard artists in the mix. Wonderful man. Okay, Dedria Smith, and I believe I have called everyone's name who is on the CAC. All right, so I also want to introduce our shipyard office staff. And you know this woman. You know her because she was a former supervisor. You know her because she's the president of the Southeast Facility Commission. You know her because she's just a great woman. As I said, an icon, Willie B. Kennedy. And then our other shipyard side office members, we have Micah Fobbs. Please stand up. Bridget LeBlanc. And Elise Vincent. Now, our side office staff people help us to conduct our business. So CAC members, we still have a tremendous amount of work ahead of us. I ask you to hang in there and keep working hard. This is just the beginning of the tremendous amount of work that we are going to need to do to make all of this, our part of this, come to fruition. Supervisor Malia Cohen. The baton was passed to you by your predecessor, former Supervisor Sophie Maxwell. Both of you women have deep roots in the community, and each of you has a legacy tied to this project. Thank you both for what you have done in the past and what you will continue to do in the future. That sounded like a threat, but it's not. Supervisor Cohen, we expect you to go the extra mile for us, and we see there's a little more going there. And we will be right by your side whenever you need us. Okay? Yes. So to the CAC, Lennar, the communities of San Francisco at large, members of the Board of Supervisors, city officials, and all the stakeholders, today is a great day. We must celebrate. Thank you all for your presence today as we move forward together to revitalize the shipyard. Thank you very much.
Sophie Maxwell served 3 terms on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, first elected in 2000. She worked tirelessly for a decade for a more equitable distribution of public money and resources to increase economic development opportunities for all San Franciscans, all while nurturing and working to empower our city's most vulnerable residents. She continues to advocate for environmental justice, for clean energy, for children's health and education, and is still a defender of good government. Perhaps most important for today, you might call Sophie Maxwell the warrior goddess. She fought to make sure this development came to life, never blinking, never stopping until her home, her Bayview neighborhood, could enjoy the same benefits as the rest of San Francisco: the parks, the open space, the affordable housing, and the safe streets. Today's groundbreaking would not have been possible without her work, courage, and fortitude. Welcome, Sophie Maxwell.
Thank you. Well, folks, for those of you on the dais and for those of you out there, this is what collective leadership looks like. This is what collective vision looks like. This is what collective determination looks like. This is what a vision that people in the community had. And then the city became infected by this vision. And it put a lot of resources. At least 3 mayors had been infected by this vision. And then the state was infected by this vision, the Assembly, the Senate, and then at least 2 governors. And federally, how many presidents? 3 presidents. And let's talk about warrior goddess women. Oh my, on the federal level, we have the Congress, we have the Senate infected by this determination and this vision. And then the armed forces, one of the largest, the United States Navy of America. Can you believe that? The vision, the determination. All so one person can say, or maybe 20,000 can say, oh, I'm home. I'm home. It has been an honor for me to be a part of this collective vision and determination. Thank you all so much. Thank all of you, and thank everyone who will be and who has been a part of this. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to return the favor and welcome and introduce District Supervisor Malia Cohen. She was born and raised here in San Francisco and elected in November of 2010. She's active on many City Hall committees and regional boards. She was most recently elected Vice Chair of the San Francisco Retirement System, overseeing $17 million of investment money. 17B with $1 billion. Where is Denise? Where is Denise? $17 billion of investment money. But her priority is her community. Just last week, the supervisor orchestrated the Third on Thirds Arts Celebration, a family and community arts and music and cultural festival, showcasing the Bayview's robust arts and food scene. Whether she's working inside or outside of City Hall, we know that she's working diligently to honor this community, its history, its art and culture, and keep District 10 working, healthy, and safe. Please welcome Supervisor Malia Cohen.
Yeah, 17.6 billion, but you know, right, who's counting? I look forward to hopefully entertaining a conversation that we would be able to have about using that fund, potentially making an investment in our community. We make investments all around the world out of this fund. Why not right here in our own neighborhood, right? Really showing a commitment and putting our money where our mouth is. Okay, so I really told myself I wasn't going to cry, but I feel so filled with emotion. I'm so excited. Pam discussed a little bit about success that we had last week, Third Thursdays. Bringing music and arts and culture to 3rd Street, making sure that we're revitalizing our merchant corridor, uplifting and supporting our artists and the works that they produce, honoring the historical legacy that the African American community has made to the Bayview Hunters Point community. I mean, this is just a remarkable period in time that we have. We literally have a convergence of energy that's all focused. It's focusing itself right here on this area, on this part of San Francisco. And yes, there will be growing pains, but we will persevere, we will stay, and we will be one community, united and marching into the future together. Now I'm going to go back on script so I can remain composed. So now this project was entitled, as many of you know, before I was a member of the Board of Supervisors, and I had the opportunity to participate in the lengthy public process. So I know how much the jobs and affordable housing and the rebuilding of Alice Griffith, how much it means to us here in the community, and also how much it's going to mean to have open space and parks that are clean and, more importantly, safe and well lit and well taken care of. This project is more than any typical private public partnership. it is the physical manifestation of years of dedication by the community and the city and Lennar Urban. It has produced something much more. It has actually produced leaders, a few of them that serve, that are on the DS behind me. It has produced businesses along the Merchant Corridor, along 3rd Street. It's created a coalition of public and private entities that are wholly committed not just to the physical improvements of the southeastern neighborhoods, but also investing and uplifting our residents. It's no secret that our southeastern neighborhoods have significant challenges, and we all know them very well. But today really marks the day that we are moving forward beyond that old narrative of fear and hatred and tearing each other down, and really walking lockstep forward together into a prosperous future that is guaranteed for anyone that is willing to be committed and willing to work hard to earn it. But this project and the many of the initiatives that Mayor Lee and I have been working on for the first time in a long time, when we talk about Bayview Hunters Point, we are not just talking about the disparities. We are not just talking about hardship and sadness. We're talking about people, real individuals, real families that live and work in the neighborhood. This is why we spent more than a decade planning for this day, and it's their voices that are shaping this significant investment. And it's for them that we will continue to move this project forward. And I just want to acknowledge the unparalleled commitment that Lennar Urban has given to the city and county of San Francisco. This developer is the quintessential example that all development projects should be modeling themselves after. An amazing commitment to labor, an amazing commitment to the community, listening to the artists and hearing their concerns and honoring them, and making sure that everyone has a spot, a place in this project. So today is just the beginning of the revitalization of the area, and it'll be up to us to ensure that the promises of this project become a reality. I want to thank the many members of the Citizen Advisory Committee, the Project Area Committee, and I'm going to even throw in the Southeast facility, because without that facility, that's been the home of many of our community meetings. We spent countless hours leading the community process to bring us to where we are today. Thank you, city staff, former Supervisor Maxwell, Lennar Urban. Also want to thank our labor leaders for not giving up and staying at the table. I want to thank our brothers and sisters at YCD and ABU who are working hard to ensure that local residents benefit from each and every job, from a cement pourer to a carpenter to the subcontractors that are working and moving the trucks. Everyone is going to benefit from this. This project has enough for all of us. Thank you for being here today. And you know what? Let's get out of the way. Let's go ahead and get started on this construction. Thank you.
Tim Paulson joined the San Francisco Labor Council as its executive director in September of 2004. So for the last decade, he has been on this journey with this community, the city, and Lennar to rebuild the shipyard. The San Francisco Labor Council is the center of labor activity in San Francisco. It is comprised of 150 local unions, representing more than 100,000 working men and women in this city. The mission of the council is to promote social and economic justice for all working people. Please welcome Tim Paulson to say a few words.
Thank you, Pam. So on behalf of the San Francisco Labor Council,
I do want to acknowledge what the previous leaders have talked about, and that is that we were all engaged in an incredibly arduous, long, complicated political process to get to where we are today. And I think I'm very proud of the Labor Council and our partners with ACE and SFOP that actually sat down and did the negotiating of a community benefits agreement that is hopefully going to be the strongest in the country to benefit not just working men and women, but people in this community. I do want to acknowledge my partner, Mike Terrio, and all the building trades representatives are here. If you guys could just stand up real quickly. Thanks for what's going on. And I also want to acknowledge Connie Ford, who's the Vice President of the Labor Council, who's been working very diligently with the community, whether or not it's with the CAC or the PAC or the other partners that we've been working with over the last few years, and we're really proud of the work that is going to be done. But 1 out of 3 households here in the Bayview area has a union member in it. And we have a commitment at the Labor Council and through our agreement with Lennar to make sure that everything in there is going to benefit the community. Local hire, affordable housing, job training, getting into houses, getting into jobs, making sure that there's good health care, making sure that all the values that labor really cares about is going to be done. And we've also negotiated extra money that is going to be used and invested in the community to make sure that the community absolutely benefits from what is happening. So we're really excited to get going. We're proud to be part of the process. We still have a long way to go, but this is a great day and this is a great start. Thank you, everybody.
Our next speaker really does embody the American dream. I'm always proud when I have an opportunity to introduce my friend, our friend, Willie Lewis Brown. A product of rural segregated Texas and the urban black neighborhoods of San Francisco, he became an attorney and rose through the civil rights movement to become one of the most effective, potent politicians in the United States. Willie Brown served more than 30 years in the California State Assembly, 15 of those years as its Speaker. Then he was elected and served as the 41st mayor of San Francisco, the first African American to do so. And don't let all that wit and style distract you. Mayor Brown has dedicated his entire life and used his skills and his might to transform and open American politics to all. He is really one of the smartest people in American politics. And I tease him for his audacity at tipping his toe in my field of journalism. As you know, he has a column in the San Francisco Chronicle. Perseverance and firmness and resolve, traits that describe Mayor Brown and the shipyard project, made possible by his vision and firm belief that deals are not enough. Political power grows only when public good is being done at the same time. Please welcome Mayor Willie Brown.
I am delighted to join so many people on this day of celebrating the reality of what will be for us over the next 36 months, a great journey. It's a journey that's been described adequately by most of the people who've gone on this mic. And the journey has been a very, very long one. Sometimes the journey, you couldn't even see whether or not there was going to be any success. But there is clearly success. I wished all of San Francisco could come today and see that we really do have a bay view. This is not like... Most thought it was a joke, but it is clearly a reality. And believe me, as you observe what will occur on this hill, as you can look at the end project, you will know that the parks that the mayor talked about will not only have grass and walkways and places for people to play and enjoy, but there will be trees. This community will come alive. It will not be any different from any other community in San Francisco, except that it will be newer and probably better. And of all the people that have been thanked be very clear that those of us holding elective office know what an incredible debt we owe to those who stepped up and did the infrastructure that will make it possible for this community to come alive. There was not bonded indebtedness when Ms. Maxwell was doing her number to help on this project. There was not bonded indebtedness available on the public side to do all the things that need to be done. Yes, Nancy and Diane did their number, but all of those things would still be just a promise of a reality without the private sector stepping up, taking their investment capital, laying it on the line. And you would think that when Lennar first made application to be selected in a competitive process, I lied through my teeth. I told them that probably $3 or $4 million over a few months, and you will be doing what you need to do and what you've done in other communities. They have hung in there. They have not allowed that fib to interfere with their good judgment, because they know in the end, the investment opportunity here represents something that's unique in all America. There is no other piece of soil in any urban area in America that is potentially as lucrative and as profitable for both the private sector and the public sector than this spot is going to be. And so I say to Lennar and your investors, you've done it right. Malia Cohen made a reference a moment ago to the fact that in her new position with the retirement board, you know that damn retirement board has a rule to say they can't invest in San Francisco. Now, how stupid is that? I told Ms. Maxwell a moment ago, they said, well, we don't want people asking questions about our investments. So, and knowing San Francisco is full of questions. Every person in San Francisco, including babies not yet born, asks questions. That's just the way we are. And we question and we challenge, etc. I am hopeful that we can have San Francisco's money, San Francisco's pension funds, equally as subject to being used in the city, and in particular, where the predictability of return is so dramatically clear. And so I'm carried away with the idea that when the base closure came along, they said, you can have the shipyard. And we said, absolutely, clean it up. And of course, Diane and Nancy made sure that the cleanup actually occurred. It took a lot longer than any of us ever dreamed of for the cleanup side, but it happened. And believe me, reference has been made to all the people that should be thanked. There's only 3 or 4 people that were not actually named. There has been at least 3 secretaries of the Navy who have stepped up, and their staff has been convinced that everything we had going here, although it may have appeared to be high risk, was worth the trip. And believe me, it was Republican administrations, Democratic administrations, it was across the board. And we are really on the edge. Just as soon as they see the real end product, the rest of the nation is going to be required to follow suit. They're going to be required to find a Lennar in their investors. They're going to be required to find a Veronica Honeycutt and the kind of dedicated people that she has had an occasion to lead on the community side. They're going to be able to find and require people like Ed Lee and Gavin Newsom and others who have done so much to help put all of this together. And let me tell you something that I've never told anybody else. My uncle worked in the shipyard. It's the only job he ever had. But my uncle worked in the shipyard. And I'm almost certain that he is smiling, knowing that if he was here, he would be negotiating for a gambling joint somewhere in the whole operation that is being done by Lennar. And so it is a wonderful occasion. We celebrate, we turn the spade of earth, and then we open the place for people to live. And for the rest of San Francisco, who will beat a path out here, you're going to be shocked the kind of people that are going to want to live out here, because the cost factor is going to be so much better. The transportation with the T-line is so much better. And all the other things for access to the freeways and to downtown, in many cases, are so much better. The public transit system generally is going to be so much better. This is just going to be an ideal place to live. I'm not sure that I'll be eligible. Pam is right. If we can arrange a discount. When I served as, Ed Lee will remember this, when I served, we used to be accused of always trying to leverage for our own personal benefit. Well, obviously, we didn't succeed at doing that, and that's why we're making a public appeal now. We deserve some preference. Thank you.
He really is San Francisco's own force of nature, isn't he? Now we like to bring to the podium a neighborhood poet who embodies the resiliency and the hope and future of this community. Please welcome Tammy Vatai. She is accompanied by Marcel Kenyon, who entertained us prior to the start of the program. Tammy.
Hello, everyone. Before I go into this short poem that I'm going to do for everyone, just want to say thanks to everybody who's put in so much hard work and everything. I am here representing Old School Cafe, who is just right in the heart of Bayview, and thank you. And because of all the hard work and all the faith that everyone has had going forward in this project and other projects, I can say today that I have a full-time job in Bayview, and I will in September be a first-time homeowner in Bayview as well. So it's a huge compliment. And so this poem I wrote that I will be saying right now is dedicated to all the youth that I work with, dedicated to everyone in Bayview, everyone that I grew up through the struggle and poverty and all that stuff. And yeah. We are the voiceless who cannot sleep long enough to dream, who barely have choices between hunger and starvation, between addiction and temptation. Words mean very little when movement is a scrounging change for hope. When our voices sound like shadows falling into the dark, when no one understands, when no one is around to see. She fights every day to protect her smile like it was the last good thing on earth, too precious to give up. He knows abandonment too well to let you come close. Distance has been more committed than family, so alcohol is the only comfort he knows. She has grown accustomed to the playback of sirens and cuss words, crashing, crying, and death. We have nothing left but our voices. And sometimes we forget that we are royalty, with a shine bright enough to break the sun. It's no wonder it seems so dark sometimes, and the moon is a clock ticking loud enough to remind us that there will be another day. And all this noise cannot make them deaf to the struggle. We have nothing left but our voices to speak. Thank you.
Tammy Vatai. Thank you. That was beautiful. Well, thank you to the neighborhood, to the leaders, and all of you for making this project possible. Thank you for being a part of something so extraordinary. Please join us for light refreshments from the exciting local neighborhood restaurants, Radio Africa, Old School Cafe, and Limon. And don't forget to nibble on Yvonne's Southern Sweets, some shortbread cookies made especially for today. Those of you who have been asked to be in the photo opportunity with the shovels for the official groundbreaking photograph, please stay on the stage nearby so that Denise can point you in the direction of the photograph. And thank you, everybody. Bayview is on its way. Have a great day.
One more time.